This film is so much about great passion sort of passing you by, and I'm wondering, have you ever experienced that in your own life?
Unfortunately not. The great passions have picked me up, chewed me, and then spat me out on the sidewalk, and I've had to recover. So, no, I mean, any chance of a great passion, I took it because that's the kind of gal I am. But I don't know whether I would now, to be honest with you, because I think they're very demanding, great passions.
Now, for argument's sake, let's say you were single in your life right now. How would you go about meeting a man?
That's such a good question. Well, it really is a good question because I have many friends in this situation. And you see, it depends, because if you work, what do? My best mate, who's my age, at 42 or something, thought to herself, actually, I've really got to do something. So she said to me, I'm going shopping. So she went to a health farm, she got herself all healthy, looking as good as she felt she could look, which made her glow. She bought herself some new clothes. She invested in herself. And then she did do some dates, but she swapped it about and she said to all her friends, if there's any interesting parties where you think there might be interesting people, will you invite me? She did a whole game plan. But it was very sensible because it had lots of they didn't put all her eggs in one basket. And most importantly, she made a huge investment in her own well-being. And, a year or two later was married and now she's got 2 kids and la, 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 la. So it can have very happy endings. Of course, be careful what you wish for. But I just said that seemed to me to be a very good way, because whilst it's all very well to say, oh, it comes along when you're not looking for it. Also, it doesn't at all ever come along when you're not looking for it. That sentence is also true. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to make yourself feel very good about yourself and then, as it were, place yourself in useful positions, that I think is probably a very good piece of advice.
So you would basically find yourself going back to the gym and...
Yes, I would start with myself and make myself feel as gorgeous and healthy and happy as I could possibly make myself feel. So that the first thing I was happy with was my own person, my own well-being. And it's after that you then think, oh, you look interesting.
Now, you're a tall woman, right? You're about 5'8".
Okay.
5'8". So, working with Dustin, I mean, he's just gorgeous to begin with.
He is.
Was that a challenge, the height between the two? No,
it didn't even occur to me, actually. It never did occur to me. When we were doing Stranger Than Fiction, we wandered around Chicago the whole time. And, he's not that small, Dustin, and he's kind of so large in life that you don't think of him as being shorter. He's just kind of there in a different way, or your eyeballs are at a different level, when you look at him. But God knows there's an awful lot of the guy. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever had the opportunity to just pick up and go to a wedding with a man that you just met? Would you do something like that?
Well, under the circumstances that are painted in this film, and God knows he really has to work hard to persuade her, then yes, I think I would. Yes, I would.
Have you ever done something that spontaneous?
I do a lot of spontaneous things, but I've never gone to a wedding spontaneously. I'd rather spontaneously combust, actually, than actually choose to go to a wedding. They're generally speaking the most frightful affairs.
Why don't you like weddings?
Because because so often they're being had for other people than the persons who are getting married. That's why I don't like them. So that it's, the bride's side, the groom's side. What is that? If you're going to get married, do it for yourselves and have a wonderful time and make it as eccentric and lighthearted as possible. I don't get that. I think I do feel sorry sometimes for people getting married, because you know perfectly well that all they want to do is rush off to a registry office and they have it over and done with, and then, have this thing that they can then work on together and privately.
So really quick, did you have a traditional wedding and celebration?
I've had 2 weddings. My first they were both beautiful, beautiful, beautiful days. And the first was in a wonderful hotel with like 90 people. but it was heaven. It was a beautiful day. And the second was in our barn in Scotland with like 20 people and it was a week. It took a week, and we all came together and lived together for the week, and everyone cooked and washed up, and then we actually had the wedding little later, and so it was an event that went on over many days, and it was just glorious.
Okay. Pleasure. I'm not going to shake your hand again.
No.